Hello everybody, and welcome back to Simulation Section. It's me, Andamel Central, that guy that goes on real life transport and things. And today you join me, him, same person. You see what I'm doing there. You join the channel and me at virtual Bradford Foster Square in the incredibly magnificent Max Tracks Airedale and Wharfedale lines, which are the network of railway lines that run between Leeds and Bradford, Ilkley and Skipton, and all the lovely places in between. Most people know the lines as the start of the Settle and Carlisle Railway and the railway up to Lancaster. However, as someone that grew up on the lines, I appreciate all the little bits, like starting at Bradford Foster Square, because many of my adventures on this line started there, going up to Keighley, going up to Saltaire, going up to Ilkley, and enjoying all those other aspects of the lines. Those of you that have watched the previous videos that I've done on Train Simulator, especially when this route came out, I do entirely blame this route for getting back into Train Simulator, because I've had it on the computer for years and years and years, and I haven't played it in a while. So I entirely thank this route for getting me back into Train Simulator. Those of you that have watched the previous videos know how much I love this route, and this video is going to be just the same. So we've got 333007 on one side. I've actually been on that unit in real life. And on the other side, we've got 150211. I've also been on that unit in real life as well. I've been on both of these in real life. And you join me from a weird vantage point at Bradford Foster Square Station. You can see the Bradford City Stadium literally just poking out up there. The football stadium. It's safe to say that the roads nearby are worth avoiding when a match is on, because the whole place grounds to a halt. But I know many people that are Bradford City fans. I won't say anything about bad about the club. But today, what we're doing is we are hello driver. It's early evening on this sweltering September day, as you take charge of 2S42, the 1641 stopping service from Bradford Foster Square to Skipton. Exceptional heat across West Yorkshire has caused several of the 333 units to be withdrawn due to on safety grounds, leaving Northern to draft in some diesel assistance. The platform's busy, patience is in short supply, usually is on the railway at about 5 p.m. And if you want bits and bobs, we've got 40 minutes. We get everything sorted. And there is a speed restriction leaving Keighley due to the hot railway. And not hot in a good way. So we are due off here at 1641. It is a time. So we'll get the doors open and we will start getting stuff set up on this unit. So this is a new addition to the scenarios available on the Alan Thompson Sim site. I believe it's Alan Thompson Sim. I found this on. Really good scenarios on there. If you've sort of got to the stage where you've played like me, you've played most and if not all. Oh, that's not what we want. If you've played most, if not all, of the base scenarios that come with the route, so you can drive more of them now. That's exciting. So let's get that all set up. We'll get our blinds working. Oh, I love the fact that they're like LED style. Oh, that's cool. So let's work through. There we go, Skipton. So get Skipton loaded up and on. I believe this is a slight enhancement to the original Class 150. So as you can see, I've downloaded the reskin especially for this scenario pack. It's a reskin I didn't already have. I will be honest. I should have had it, but I didn't. It's an incredibly highly detailed with the usual typical wear and tear and muck underneath of 150, 211 and the other newly liveried Northern 150s that we currently run, predominantly around the West Yorkshire lines. It's rare to see many of these outside of West and South Yorkshire. We have a lot on the South Yorkshire lines as well. They very rarely get seen over in Lancashire in the same way that the flat fronted 150/1s are rarely seen in Yorkshire, minus the new 3-car conversions that are some of these 150s sort of one unit split and added onto another 2 car set to create 3 car units. We've got 8 of them, I think, at the moment, although they are converting more as we speak. They're found in Yorkshire because they've got flat fronts, but apart from that, the 2 car flat front variations are usually found across Lancashire. They're quite rare, very rare in fact, over in Yorkshire. So yeah, what calling points have we got today? So we've got Rising Hall, we have Shipley, Saltaire, Bingley, Crossflat, Keighley, Steeton and Silsden, Connolly Station, and Skipton, and platform number 4. So I do note that the only point that is actually timetabled on this are Shipley and Keighley, which is good because it puts a little less pressure on me, which is always really nice. Always a lovely thing to put a little bit less pressure on me. And this is the basic 150/2 train that has been in train sim for years now. I remember when this released. I will be honest, it's not the most exciting DMU that money can buy in Train Simulator. As you can hear, sound-wise, and just basic sort of options with the vehicle. It's worth noting with this as well that you don't have a passenger cabin view. As far as I'm aware, I don't think we've ever had a passenger cabin view on any variation of the 150/2. There is a passenger cabin view on the 150/1, the sort of more Lancashire-esque variation, but as far as I'm aware, we've never had passenger view on this one. This one is a slightly older model, though it is worth noting. So we are once again on the Max Tracks development Airedale and Wharfedale lines. It is so nice to be back. Don't get me wrong, it has been absolutely lovely having a drive of a few different other routes recently. We sort of took a train from Chester to Crewe. That was fun, that was different. So we did that. We've done the Manchester Huddersfield Leeds Transpennine route in various different elements recently, including a full drive-through with 2 paces coupled together, which I did thoroughly enjoy. That was a really, really fun video, was that? I really enjoyed filming that one. Really did see. It was a surprise. It's surprisingly fun to drive 2 142 sets put together across an entire route like that. That I thoroughly did enjoy. It was very exciting. And yeah, we've just done a few other bits and bobs here and there. However, quite recently I wanted to have a look at more scenarios that were available, so I've explored a few more scenarios on the Huddersfield line, so a few more on the Leeds Huddersfield Manchester, because you see I say Huddersfield line, but when I say Huddersfield line in my head I think of the Penistone line, and it isn't the Penistone line. Although I do have a rendition of the Penistone line on my train simulator. I don't quite know how I found it. I think it was a workshop setup, but the signalling system for some reason doesn't work for me. So I don't tend to drive it because there is a scenario set up on it, and obviously if the signalling system doesn't work properly, you don't tend to get very far before the train crashes into you. So I won't mind a proper go on that, but I do think that there's a few dependencies that I required that I didn't get. That's very much on me. Very much on me. So now approaching Rising Hall. It has a staggered platform set up. So one platform is before the bridge, the other one's just after, in both directions, as you can see. It was always a funny one getting off at this station as a kid, because round the corner from Rising Hall used to be Rising Hall Model Railways, which, although it is still called Rising Hall Model Railways, for those of you that, like me, do visit the model railway shops, it becomes an addiction very, very quickly. It is now based in Shipley, so it is literally just up the road in Shipley. But it's still called Frizinghall Model Railways. I don't judge. I don't judge, but it's no longer in Frizinghall. We used to jump off here and go to the model railway shop, and it was always really funny because you'd get off the train, sort of like we're getting up to get off the train here, and you see the platform on the other side, and young me was always like, shouldn't the train be stopping now, forgetting that the platform was staggered. I will admit I've never had any exciting traction like this, unfortunately. Even when they were doing electrification works to the line, so they weren't having triple freeze on a lot of it. I never went on the line when they did that. There is a scenario around that you can do. I think it still leads to Bradford, because I remember from memory they were doing a lot of works on the line, and they had to switch the electric power off, the gantries off, and while they were doing it, I know it was definitely down the Bradford Foster Square section, this section of route that we're currently on. And I remember because there were rail replacements running that I was helping out with up to Ilkley every hour, but there was also a supplementary train service that was shuttling. I think it was. I'm sure it was going all the way to Leeds. I'm sure it would lead to Bradford Foster Square by Shipley, but it was sort of like a shuttle timetable because you would jump on that train or jump on a rail replacement bus. You'd then travel to Shipley and then jump on one of the triple threes to take you to Skipton. As normal, so you'd do it that way instead. So I remember there being 150 sets on that day, and that, I mean, we're talking a couple of years ago now, easily a couple of years ago. Before I was driving buses, much before I was driving buses. But I remember it happening because it was always seeing anything that was a non-electric at Bradford Foster Square is always an oddity. It's always like, ever since I have been in existence, because I was sort of in existence shortly before all the electrification stuff kicked off. I've always known it as electric, so it is always weird seeing non-electric stuff, and that is the only time from memory where I've been to the station and it's been non-electric units. Yeah, let's see if we can get some level of screenshot. It's still somehow in the shadow. Like it is still amazingly within the shadow. Like we still haven't managed to escape the shadow yet. I'm hoping to get a nice screenshot of delivery because delivery looks really cool. This is an unintentionally really cool POV. Apart from the woman that's just stepped out right in front of us, as usual, right in front of the camera, you get really good POV, and then a customer steps out. That looks really cool. I didn't intend to get this point of view, but it also shows the detail on the storage lockers, which are now very much a staple diet and train station. No, we don't actually leave here till 1649. Excellent. Got a couple of minutes then. Well, a bit of time. So once again, it is worth noting that I don't have everything that this scenario requires. That is because I'm not as avid with it as some other people are, I'm afraid. So I don't have every single dependency known to man, unfortunately. Um, every single add-on, because you very quickly learn when you get Train Simulator that although it is lovely to have all of these things, it is also impossible financially. So I don't unfortunately have every single dependency required for this. As I said, I do apologise about. We'll try and get a screenshot here, I think. because I think the lighting is being okay with us. The only thing that we do now have to contend with is the shrubbery, that isn't ideal, but hey ho. Oh no, that's a bit too low. That might do, because I want to try and get all of the exciting scenery in the background. We'll have to try for another screenshot somewhere else, but I wanted to give this one a crack pulling out a Shipler station, because I thought, you know what, it might look good, and unfortunately it's not looked good, as good as I thought it would. Hey ho, we vibe. Shipler West Junction, there we go. Yeah, we'll pretend I didn't accelerate too quickly at that point. That's also the quickest I've ever known is 150 accelerate. I wasn't expecting that. Nice. There we go, approaching Saltaire. It's really cool doing this run in this direction again. Like we last did it in the first video and started in Leeds. As this is the direction I always remember sort of travelling on the most, because this was always the excitement, the adventure, the intrigue, the excitement of, oh, where we're going today, where we're going to end up, and all that stuff. So it's really cool actually driving it in this direction. Again, it is worth just noting the absolute sheer depth of detail on this route. I know that I mention it literally every single video that I do. I do not make an apology for this at all. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to try and get a screenshot here, because I want to try and get the Titus Salt thingamajig in the background that I fear is going to prove a little bit more difficult to achieve than I thought it would. I'm going to be entirely honest. I do think this might be a bit difficult. The map's too realistic with all the gantries that there we go. That might work. Might work. Oh, we are within the shrubbery, but I want that level of zoom on it, so we'll have to go to literally just before the shrubbery. Yeah, I like that. Right outside Titus Salt Mill. I have been in there many a time as a kid. It is always exciting. The only negative of doing that is I've got to make sure that the train now stops at the station that I knew it was always going to be a interesting screenshot up, but I have wanted it. I wanted it in the first video we did for those of you that have watched it, and I obviously didn't get it. So, although to be fair, that also looks nice. Now, we used to do, back in the day, when I was involved with a bus museum in Keighley, we used to do, and I used to be in charge of some of the routes that we did, and some of the other routes on the open days. And one of the open days, I designed all the timetable, and we ran an open top B10M, open top city bus, one of the X-First Cornwall ones, down here, and turned it literally just there. And did that for one of the tours. It's also worth noting that there used to be a bus running day run by them that's no longer run by them, they no longer do it, called the Saltaire Bus Running Day as well. That used to go up to here and turn around in the same spot just over the bridge. And my bus has also been round here, which again is also another exciting, noteworthy point. Oh, I saw that as we were leaving, and I was like, that looks cool, and now I've got to try and replicate the angle of which I've just achieved with that, because that looked really cool with the angle. No, just the zoom, it sort of like moves a bit too quickly sometimes. There we go, I like that. And I think that'll do for screenshots for a little bit. let's let's just make a move. Let's make a move and go. So our next stop is Bingley in 2 miles time. Again, something else I absolutely love about this route, and I always liked it growing up, is it's such a small but cute but useful but important railway line. Like, it's just one of these where it's its own like mini little network. Mini little network up to Skipton, and then it becomes like a famous railway and all that stuff. But at this point, it's like it's its own mini area, its own little bits and bobs of goings on, minding its own business with its fancy electric trains and occasionally a diesel one going through. And the stations are always so close, so there's always something to think about, something to do there. There's always a change in scenery, and I am so glad that we waited as long as we did for someone to make this route in Train Sim, because I remember growing up I really wanted it to come out in Train Simulator, and I am incredibly glad that we waited. I really am. I really am glad. That's not worked, but and I'm really glad that we waited, because Max Tracks has done such a good job of this route. It's so good. Like it's just it's the sheer level of detail. It's the depth as well. Like, I can actually tell you stories of the area. Like when we did the run from Manchester to Leeds. If you haven't already, do go and watch that video, because it is worth watching for the run. And to also see how much retention I kept. I was quite proud of myself, actually, to not get bored halfway through, because it was a long run. It was about an hour and a half it took us to do it. It was about an hour and a half, something like that. So it did take us a fair bit of time to do it. But it were like getting to Huddersfield when we had the likes of 10 minutes sat at Huddersfield. Real time 10 minutes, just to add. Real time 10 minutes. You were there, you know. And I tried to sort of do a bit of a walk around Huddersfield, because I was a regular at one point. I don't do it as much now, because I don't get as much time, although I am hoping to go back and see the likes of Steve and people like that who regularly go to Huddersfield, like I used to. Yeah, like Bingley. But it was just sad, because I couldn't actually do much conversation with you all about Huddersfield, because the vast majority of the town didn't exist, because it hadn't been built. The difference is it's like I go here now, and I can talk about this station and the details, such as the railings, for goodness sake, like the detail on the railings. Then I can go and talk to you about the steps here and the mouldings there. Then I can talk to you about the dual carriageway and the fact that this sign is like part of my childhood, because I always remember this sign, because it always had the M logo on it, and when I was growing up I never used to see that many signs with the M logo on, and I was always intrigued on what was in Eldwick. But for those of you who are also intrigued, is literally a big hill, a load of houses, and then a bus terminus in the middle of nowhere. And then we can also go over to this mill here that used to be... oh, I can't remember the company, and that upsets me. And then we can look at 3 rise locks, then we can go up and look at 5 rise locks. But by that time we have very much run out of time, because it's time to go. But you can look at all of that, and you can explore all of that, and it's really cool. And there comes another 150. Very exciting. Possibly one from Morecambe and Lancaster, I'd imagine. But I can tell you all about that, and that is what makes this map stand out, and that is why this map is worth buying. It is worth spending your money on, and for those of you that used to watch my old Train Simulator routes back in the day, used to watch all my TS stuff, you used to know I absolutely love the freeware stuff. I used to go through all the freeware mods and bits. But it's routes like this that remind me as to why it is worth splashing out money on a route, because even if this wasn't my area, I could still be fully transported to this area to such a degree that if I was travelling to this area, I could jump out at these stations and like virtually have a look at what's around. And what has been replicated in this is all so accurate, so realistic, and so detailed. It is absolutely unreal. It really is unreal. And as I say, having spent a bit of time away from this route, I did on purpose because I wanted to have a little drive of some other bits, and I do like keep doing that. And I'll still be driving other routes and bits like that, but coming back to it now with a bit more of a fresh mind because we haven't been here for a few videos, it just reminds me as to why I love this map so much, why I love this route is just absolutely amazing. And I do want more scenarios to come out for it. I really do. Like this one, because as I say, I got to drive the 150 /2. There's a train that I travel on absolutely tons, but I never drive in train sim because there's never any scenarios for me to use it on. Another route I'm hoping to revisit very soon, and for us to have another look at, is the Riviera line. For those of you that remember the Riviera line, purely because it came with the Class 143 Pacer, was one of the first routes that I bought train sim on Steam. Absolutely beautiful route, and I've been on it since filming those videos many years ago. I've now been on it a couple of times as a passenger, and it's absolutely gorgeous. In the sunlight, it is beautiful. It was that sunny one Monday I was coming back, and I actually regret not booking an extra day in Cornwall because the weather was just absolutely gorgeous. And we came back and I filmed the segment from like just out the window. I was travelling along the Riviera line. It was absolutely stunning. So beautiful. So we might be revisiting that at some point. I know that GWR have got the Class 175s from the Welsh network, and obviously I've got the 175 because I've got the North Wales route. So we might put 2 and 2 together. I'll see what scenarios are out there and see what we can do. Still got lots that I won't mind filming and lots to explore that we haven't explored previously, or stuff that routes that we've looked at previously but not in a certain area or certain context. So there's a lot of that as well that we'll be taking a look at. I also want to do the Class 153 test train actual scenario, because the last time we drove that I sort of set up a quick drive early morning when there was no trains on the line to sort of do a run out of Bradford Foster Square, because at the time we hadn't done a trip out of Bradford Foster Square yet. There were no scenarios set up that you could do a run out, so I thought we'd give that a crack. But there is also a scenario that does come with it, so I won't mind showing you that as well, because there's a bit of shunting and a bit of excitement and intrigue involved in that. So I wouldn't mind showing you that as well. Where did it say this? In place as you leave, Keith. Okay, that's good. I was about to say, because there's nothing coming up, nothing at all coming up on the route at the bottom. So I was like, I best just ask, because if it's before, I'll best just check, because if it's before the station, I need to slow down very quickly. We need to slow down a lot more than that, actually. Because I think I've not realised how close to Keithley Station we are. So let's just turn it on down just a little bit more. At least we caught up the time. Is that a positive? That's a positive. Caught up the time. And there goes 333 towards Leeds. The one thing I really do like with this 150 is with the sounds is the brakes. That genuinely, having been on this particular unit as well, are so realistic to what these are like. Really, like, absolutely spot on. So we're not due out till 1703, and then it is Skipton, Silsden, Connolly Station, and Skipton. Skipton and Silsden is the last station within West Yorkshire. Connolly takes us into North Yorkshire. I like that screenshot. It just portrayed a nice angle. Oh, I've clicked out of the game. I didn't mean to do that. that was unintended. That was unintended. Let's get a nice screenshot of these two side by side in Keighley. Lovely stuff. Apparently there is a 20 miles an hour speed restriction somewhere along here. So let's just stay at about 20. It says as you leave Keighley. So we'll just stay, there we go. Yeah, did you see that? It changed to 20 without any warning. You see, at least we prepped ourselves. Prepped ourselves for 20, so that's good. We didn't get caught out. I've only been done for speeding once, and that was because I got a bit throttle happy and Shipley. That was because I forgot how quickly that this thing can accelerate. I genuinely did not realise it could accelerate that quickly. If you've ever been on one of these, you will agree with me that they don't accelerate quickly. Like, there we go, so we're back to 60 now. They don't accelerate quickly, like, they are very steady units compared to other things, but for some reason it just shot off. That was different. I also love driving just DMUs because, yeah, you get your high-speed trains and they're cool. But with DMUs, you sort of get this little cabin window that just allows you to see out into the world. And it is just so cool. It is so, so cool. Also, the controls are always nice and easy, so we do like it. Although I am going to give myself some EMU training so that I can successfully drive the class 321s and 22s, because I do need a bit of training on them. I do need to set them up. Thank you for those, including Max Tracks, who have got involved in the comment section below about my failure of being able to drive 321 22s. Unfortunately, at the time that I'm filming this, I haven't yet had a chance to sort of do a bit more research. I have tried the methods that were given to me, they weren't working, presumably driver error. So I'm just going to watch a couple of videos, I think, because there's a few tutorials and bits out there and a few type training bits. So I'm going to watch a few of them just to make sure I'm fully clued up on what I'm supposed to be doing. As I say, although this channel isn't the most highly detailed and realistic and all that lot when it comes to the trains, i.e. I don't touch these, I don't touch them, that's unfortunately beyond my knowledge. And we do have a drive on the routes, we do have a chat about the routes, we do have a chat about the units and bits like that, so hopefully that is good enough for you all, and I hope you do enjoy it. On that note, a big thank you to our recent people that have started joining the channel and started following what we do. A big thank you to the increased amount of people that are now watching the train simulator content. So a big thank you to the people that sort of joined. I've just realised that station's very close to how quick I'm going. I need to get better at this. I can't be going into stations at 60 miles an hour. That's just a no-no. This one's going to be fun. I don't know if we're going to make this. Oh no, we are. I think we are. What scared me there is that, again, I forgot that Skipton and Silsden was a staggered station. So I saw the platform on one side, I thought, oh no, that isn't happening. But as I was saying, a big thank you to those that have joined and started watching the Train Simulator series. I know that I have a really good following for the Omza 2 side and the bus side. I've been doing that sort of thing for years. And a big thank you, as I have said in the recent videos on Omza 2, for those that are supporting with that and are providing me with the stuff to have a look at and the support and subscribing for it. But a big thank you for those that have joined us for this, because as I say, I'm not the most... I've not got the most expertise in the world when it comes to driving the trains, but obviously I drive them because it's fun, it's exciting and it's different, and I can tell you a few stories about the lines that we drive them on and my experiences that I've had on those lines. So hopefully, as I say, that's enjoyable for you all. As I say, it isn't the most highly detailed videos as well. Unfortunately, with the setup I have to do, you know, the Froby has to record train sim. The screen has to be slightly different size and bits like that. Just for you lot to get the sort of full screen experience. For me, it has to be a little bit smaller than full screen. That sometimes does compromise a bit of the graphics, and I know that it's not the most perfect of series, but I do appreciate the fact that everybody still watches the videos and enjoys them, and hopefully all my blabbering on about random bits and bobs of real life train stuff and real life experiences is actually interesting. I really do. But as I say, the main message I'd like to get across in this video, just like I have on all the other ones where I've driven this route, is I do highly recommend buying this route. This route is definitely at the top of the list of my recommendations. It really is. Yes, you do need the Huddersfield line for it to work. Yes, you do require that. And yes, I did say it's not the most detailed thing in the world, but to say that with the price you pay for both of them added together, you get this amazing route, and then you can also add on little bits on your Transpennine route as well. I think it's a bargain in my opinion. Just as I said, don't go for a mooch around Huddersfield in Train Simulator, because you'll find that there's not much there. However, as I have said before with this, and I've said earlier in the video, you can go for an explore. You can go and look at the housing estates and the nearby buildings and everything. Like, there's the entire like industrial area and all that town and bits has been built over there yet. If I wouldn't have looked then, like at that point, we wouldn't have even noticed it. But it's the consideration that all of that has been built. We'll open that as well because we can have train sounds from the outside. Double train sounds from the outside. It's just the detail that really gets me with it. It's just how much detail I think the support has got into this. And I think when you do video after video on this and you do drive after drive on it, you can forget that. It is really easy to forget that. And then all you do is you drive another route that was released really not so long ago, and you look and you go, there's not all the detail there. I mean, this route is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, one that would be really nice to see as well, I have sort of hinted that there is one, I believe, on the Steam Workshop. I've hinted that there's one on the Steam Workshop, but a proper Penistone line route, that would be absolutely beautiful. Sheffield's an area that seems to unintentionally have been neglected from the train sim world. It's just an area that I don't. I think it might be modelled on Just Trains, possibly. I want to say. I want to say it might be on Just Trains. But apart from that, it's just an area that it's just never been properly modelled. Like, you get quite a few bits of Leeds. There's been all sorts of lines outside of Leeds being covered in the past, but there's never been any Sheffield. So it would be really nice to have a proper Penistone route. Yes, that is a much longer route and poses its own unique challenges. However, it would be cool to have that as well, because these 150s are very much the staple of that line. Yes, they have tried to replace them with the free car 150s, and there was a period where 158s were on it. But these two car 150s still go on it a lot. This one particular, like 211, this is either on the Sheffield to Adwick turns. Adwick or Adwick? People say it differently, but it has a W in it. To Adwick, I'm going to say. It's either on that line, or it's usually on the Sheffield to Huddersfield Penistone line, or it's on the Morthorpe line. It's always on one of the three. Just to know as well, with Connolly, we are here. Obviously, this is outside of West Yorkshire, so you'll have noticed all the M stickers for West Yorkshire have gone. As someone that grew up heavily with the M stickers, and I took that screenshot at the wrong time. Just as it took the screenshot, just a picture of gantry, it wasn't even a train. But as someone that grew up in West Yorkshire, it was always cool to travel out of West Yorkshire, and I remember leaving Skipton and Silsden Station, getting to Connolly Station, and being like, oh, there's no metro stickers, there's no M's, all the stations different, and it was such a cool, surreal experience, because this was one of the first railway lines I actually had that experience on. That was so cool. So cool. Just a lovely route. It is just a really nice route. I mean, just look at the background, for example. All the trees up there, and the hills, and the trees aligning where the fence, like the hedges, trees aligning where the fences will be between the different fields, and just bits like that. Just really cool things that have been really well thought through. Arriving into Skipton. Again, something exciting and just fun about this route is because the stations are within such close proximity to each other, but there's also that change in atmosphere. Like, we started in the very, very urbanised West Yorkshire, and now we're finishing our journey in Skipton, which is the start of sort of like the North Yorkshire National Park area, the Yorkshire Dales, all of that lot. And I think the fact that a route can convey this much contrast but can also be so localised just makes this route so unique. It really, really does. And again, you have all the excitement of being able to do the Sattel and Carlisle bit, but for me this is what the proper thing is: doing the local lines, doing the local trips, going up to Wookle, going up to Bradford Foster Square, terminating at Skipton. This is what it was for me. Don't get me wrong, I have done the bit from Leeds a few times, and that was fun. I have enjoyed driving it as well, but most of the scenarios are sort of based off that. So it is really nice to do scenarios and start at Bradford Foster Square, or start up in Wookle, and just cover the different parts that we just seem to, we do unintentionally forget, because yeah, the most exciting stuff has always done Leeds to Skipton and then gone up to Sattel and Carlisle. That, whether I like it or not, that's all where all the exciting stuff has gone. It's very rare that anything exciting ever happens in the likes of Bradford Foster Square. Very unusual. So here we go now, arriving into Skipton. That building on the right in real life is a big Tesco from memory. A Tesco I've never been into, but always gone past with intrigue. I don't tend to go past Tesco's with intrigue, but I've always gone past that one with intrigue. Oh, we're going into platform number 4. That's very unusual. Usually in real life, these either go into the literally any other platform from memory. Actually, I have alighted and caught triple threes back towards Bradford Foster Square from any other platform except this one. I don't think I've ever caught one from here. I forgot about the Zoom, I'm going to be honest. So yeah, we are in Skipton. We did it. That was a really, really nice run. It was really nice to get back in the Thompson 150. I believe it's Thompson that did this many, many years ago. And it was nice to get back in the 150. Nice to have a little chat about the memories of actually going on 150-211. Because I have been on this quite a few times. I'm pretty certain this was the one I went on a couple of weeks ago as well. Like, this particular unit seems to be one that I ride on a load. Whenever I go and it's a 150, usually is this one. So that's really spooky that it was this one in Train Sim as well. In the livery that it's currently in. Just a shame that there's no passenger saloon view on this particular unit. That has always let it down, but it is an old unit. But it was still a nice one to drive, really nice to take on this run, really different, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and it was really nice to get back on the max tracks, Airedale and Wharfedale lines. As usual, I will link this route in the description below. Please do go and check it out. I would recommend buying it. As I say, I'm not being paid by them. I'm not being paid by them or anything like that, but as someone that grew up on this route, it is beautiful. As someone that likes driving routes on Train Simulator, it is beautiful. And as someone that likes getting their money's worth with something that's highly detailed, it is beautiful. So it is just totally worth it. If you haven't already, do be sure to click that like button if you have enjoyed the video. I'm hoping you have if you've got to this point, as that way more people can find the video and enjoy it just like you have. And that way we can keep growing the channel. And on that note, if you haven't already and you've just found us, do consider subscribing, click that button so you don't miss out on more content from the Train Simulator world around trains and the Bus Simulator OMSI 2 world around buses, with videos up to twice a week on the channel. You can also check out my main channel and more central for all the real life public transport stuff around buses, trams and trains, including my Day in the Life of Bus Driver series where I drive real life buses, and my Project Bus series where I restore my own buses, because yes, I have my own physical things as well as the ones in the virtual world. Once again, thank you all for watching, thank you for your continued support towards the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video I make. Bye for now. Bye!